Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Sanjit, and in this video, we'll be talking about the part 2 of aircraft nationality and registration marks. So, when it comes to these chapters, that I broke it into two parts because there are a lot of questions asked from these. This is a single chapter, but it there would be a lot of questions asked from these two videos. So, I hope you're listening to what we are trying to discuss, and this is what I read today. So, the first thing that I would like to discuss about is the measurements of nationality, common, and registration marks. So, by measurements, I mean what is the size of, let it be the flag or let it be the name of the aircraft, how it's written. So, we will talk about that. So, heavier than air aircraft. Heavier than air aircraft is your common fixed wing, your airplane basically. And that in that case, they're saying the wings, the height of the marks of the wings of the heavier than air aircraft shall be at least 50 centimeters, 50 centimeters. So, the question is in your exam can be how big does the mark for, and by the mark in this case means, let's say you ever traveled on an airplane and you're looking out the window, you can see the wings, and you might see those marks, those registration marks, right? Let's say Victor Tango India X-ray Zulu, or Victor Tango India India India. So all that is the name of the aircraft. But what this rule is saying is that even that should be at least 50 centimeters. So the height of the marks of the wings of the heavier than air aircraft shall be at least 50 centimeters, 50, and it is the height. So remember this question might come in. Next is fuselage. So fuselage is basically the part of the aircraft where you're sitting in, right? So it is that structure of the aircraft. It is the main structure of the aircraft, and it is where the wings are attached. It is where the landing gear is attached. I've already spoken about it in the initial videos, so you can go back and have a look at it. But in case of the fuselage, they also again have and of course the fuselage and the vertical tail surfaces. So you would if you look at the structure of an airplane, at the back you will find a vertical fin like structure. So they are talking about the fuselage and the vertical fin like structure. The height of the marks of the fuselage and on the vertical tail structures of the heavier than air aircraft shall be at least 30 centimeters, 30 centimeters. The letters and numbers in each separate group of marks shall be of equal height, right? So when you go back on the wings, it should be at least 50 centimeters height, and on the fuselage, it should be at least 30 centimeters. Now, when they talk about lighter than air aircraft, in case of lighter than air aircraft, what can it be? It can be a glider, or it can be also those balloons that you might have seen. The height of the marks of lighter than air aircraft, other than unmanned free balloons, shall be at least 50 centimeters. So they're talking about gliders only in this particular case, and that is 50 centimeters. The measurement of marks related to unmanned free balloons shall be determined by the state of registry, taking into account the size of the payload to which the identification plate is affixed. So, when it comes to balloons, they are saying that the height shall be determined by the country in which it is registered, right? So, on the wings, it is 50 centimeters. On the fuselage, it is 30 centimeters. And in lighter than air aircraft, it is again 50 centimeters, right? In all these cases the height of the characters has to be equal, right? Okay, now we'll talk about national provisions. National provisions, first they talk about certificate of registration. Now again, certificate of registration is like a certificate on which it is mentioned that this aircraft is registered to so and so company, and we are naming it Victor Tango India Zulu Zulu, or Victor Tango X-ray X-ray X-ray, or whatever the name of the aircraft is. That is basically the certificate of registration. What does it say? The authority empowered to register aircraft and to grant certificate of registration in India shall be the central government. The certificate of registration shall include the following particulars, namely type of aircraft, constructor's number, year of manufacture, nationality, and registration marks referred to under these rules. Full name, nationality, and address of the owner, usual station of aircraft, and the date of registration and the period of validity of such registration. So basically, if we break this into two parts, they are saying that number one, the certificate of registration for an aircraft in India is first of all issued by the central government. This is a question that will come for sure. So the who registered, who gives you the certificate of registrations, or who registers aircrafts in India? That is the central government. So it's a trick question also. They say, is it DGCA or is it the central government? So the answer is central government. Okay, don't forget this. uh, Now they are also saying what all is there on your certificate of registration. So the type of aircraft can be helicopter, airplane, etc. Constructor's number, so it's a number that relates to, let's say, Airbus or Boeing or whatever constructor it is. Year of manufacture, when it is manufactured, nationality and registration marks. So nationality and registration marks, we'll again talk about it, but it has to have an Indian flag, or if it's an aircraft that is registered in India, and it has to have the mark of which, basically, whatever the name of the aircraft is. And it's saying that it has to have the full name, nationality, and address of the owner. So the full details of whoever owns it. And usual station of aircraft. Usual station means what is the base of the aircraft. Let's say if the aircraft's main base is in Delhi, so that should be on the certificate of registration. And it's also saying, and the date of registration and the period of validity of such registration. So date of registration, when it is registered, and also there's generally a 5-year validity, and then it goes for again re-registration again. So provided that in the case of a leased aircraft, the certificate of registration shall also include the validity of the lease and the names, nationalities, and address of the leaser and the leasee. So it's also saying that, let's say, in India now, it's becoming a trend in which aircrafts are being leased, right? By leased, I mean aircraft is being rented from another company. So they take aircrafts on long rents, let's say 5 or 6 years of rent from uh, countries, from companies which are there abroad, and they bring the aircraft to India on lease or or on rent. And they're saying that again, the term of lease, or the number of years that it is rented for, that should be mentioned. Secondly, the names, nationalities, and all the details again has to be mentioned. Okay. Now cancellation, this is something that is really important, and this you have to remember. So basically, there are certain conditions in which the certificate of registration can be cancelled, right? So let's look at how it can be cancelled. So, such registration is not in conformity with the provision of rules. So, if any rules are broken, then the registration can be cancelled. The registration has been obtained by furnishing false information. So, if any false data has been given to the central government, then the registration can be cancelled. And who cancels the registration? It is cancelled by DGCA. But it is, again, if you remember, it is issued by the central government but can be cancelled by DGCA. So the first one was if they break any rules. Second one is if false information is furnished. Third, the aircraft could more suitably be registered in some other country. So this is not a likely case, but if they are saying that the aircraft is much suitable in some other country, let's say it is better for the aircraft to be in some other country in terms of maintenance, it can be again the a cancellation can happen. The lease in respect of the aircraft registered is not in force. So the lease or the term of rent, uh, is lapsed basically. So basically the term of rent is over, and let's say it's not been renewed, again the certificate of registration can be cancelled. The next one is saying that the aircraft has been destroyed or permanently withdrawn from use. So again, if the aircraft undergoes an accident or it cannot be used anymore, the certificate of registration can be cancelled. It is they are saying that it is inexpedient in the public interest that the aircraft should remain registered in India. So the aircraft is against public interest. For example, before, if you remember, the Concorde, basically it was a huge problem to register in India, because whenever the Concorde flew, it used to break off all the windows, because it used to break the sound barrier, and because of that, registering it in India was impossible. Now they are saying that the certificate of airworthiness in respect of the aircraft has expired for the period of 5 years or more. So certificate of airworthiness is under maintenance, and they have not been able to resolve issues related to maintenance. And again, the certificate of airworthiness is also provided by DGCA. So the DGCA does not consider the aircraft airworthy and does not give it a certificate of airworthiness for a period of 5 years, then it again can be, the registration can go lapse, right? uh, the registration of the aircraft registered in India, to which the provisions of the Cape Town Convention or the Cape Town Protocol apply, shall be cancelled by the DGCA as provided in the Cape Town Protocol if an application is received from the irrevocable deregistration and export request authorization holder prior to expiry of lease. So in this particular case, they're talking about, let's say, if it has a code that matches an emergency code, let's say pan, or let's say mayday, or let's say triple x xxx, or let's say the q codes qne qnh or qnf. In that case also, this can be, the registration can be cancelled, right? So these were a few conditions in which the registration of the aircraft can be cancelled, right? uh, Again, the next thing that they're talking about is the register of aircraft. So they're saying a register of aircraft shall be registered in India, shall be maintained by the Director General, and shall include the particulars that provided. So we have already spoken about this, that a register of all the aircraft registered in India shall be maintained by the DGCA and shall be, available for public viewing, and that is available on the DGCA website on the aircraft section, right? So that is it for this video. I hope you gained some value. Happy landings, guys. Cheers.